Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Stat Me Up for Anfield Index. It is within our grasp, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, in 6 days' time from now, it's actually possible you could say this Liverpool side are champions for a 20th time. And they did that by beating West Ham yesterday 2-1 in a game that was up and down, we'll put it that way. But here to run the stats, here to look at the analysis for that is Bart. And Bart, as we go into this, the stats are important because there are a few things we really want to pick up on. But ultimately, even though we're a stat show, the ultimate one at the business end of the season, this stage, is just win, isn't it? We'll worry about the performance later, but where it is right now, just win, get the point, and we'll analyse it after.
100%. I think I put when I post the stat pack out after a game on a Blue Sky, I always say a rough idea of what the game is, but now I'm like, we just got across the line. 2 weeks ago, we just get the 3 points, and yeah, we've been saying for a while, you, me, and under pressure as well. Some of our metrics have been on a bit of a decline, but yeah, it's annoying. Like his second half last week against Fulham, if we could have just turned it around completely, or not made the errors in the first half, we basically sit here saying we're going to win the title on Sunday. Whereas now we have to rely on. I mean, let's be honest here. Arsenal are not going to go to Ipswich and get beat. They might draw, but they're not going to get beat. So it is going to be Tottenham at home. But anyway, it's a phenomenal position to be in. We're two wins away from the title, which, yeah, I think you and I both would have snapped each other's arms off, both of them off maybe at the start of the season.
I'd have sold my kidney and your house in Mauritius to be here right now. Not a doubt at all. And there's bits we'll get into as we do, ladies and gents. And the first bit really, Bart, says we kind of think back to that game. As someone, as we always talk about, mentions the eye test, it felt like first half, dominant in full flow. Mo Salah dominating as well, which we'll come to later on. Second half, pretty much nada until they scored, it felt like. And then we woke up and decided to, we'll best get a winner type of scenario. But it was almost the opposite of what we're used to with Arne Slot. As in, usually it's first half, a little bit, we'll just suss them out, feel the game.
Yeah.
Second half, we'll change it. The subs will make the difference. The eye test said completely the opposite way round yesterday. So I'm interested to see what the stats bear out.
It's an interesting one because I won't do top level because everyone can look at that themselves and they go, oh, but if you look at the first half, right? Okay. I'll just get, as always, black and white for you, yeah? First half, 62 versus 38 possession. Okay, well, we know we generally have about 65 at home. Okay, penalty box touches, 27 versus 6. That is exceptionally good for us, right? That is a dominant performance. Build till, that's the amount of time we're spending in their final third as opposed to them spending in our final third, right? 90 versus 10. Again, that's extremely dominant for a first half, right? Total shots, though, 9-6. Less dominant. On target, 4 versus 2. So, yeah, we shaded it, but considering the amount of where we were and the amount of time, you'd expect a little bit higher. Okay, penalty box shots, 7 versus 5. Again, only a 2 difference, all right? Goals, obviously, 1-0. Big chances, though, 3, and we had 2. So on some of the stuff that really matters, they had more than us. XG, 1.27 to us, 0.37 for them. Okay, so we dominated that, yeah, absolutely. But the key thing that I've said to you, and we've been saying under pressure for a while, our ability to convert threat into XG has been on the decline since the turn of the year. And this is another game, we are 55%. So that is not anywhere near the levels we've set ourselves at being 90 plus, if not 100, right? Defensively, fine, we kept them at 50%. That's good. 30 is elite, right? But for us, an attacking side, to not convert that threat into XG is a trend that's been going on for a while. So for all of Mo Salah, absolutely teaching that youngster at fullback how to play a game of football, it didn't actually He didn't create. He created a goal, yeah, and he created some other opportunities. But we could have done more with those situations. And down the left as well. It's not just on Mo. I'm just saying down the left. Diaz was having Wan-Bissaka on toast numerous times, but we were getting to areas and it just wasn't happening in that middle area. You could say selection, yada yada yada, some other bits. So that's the first half. Second half, when people are saying, "Oh, it got really bad," okay. So, yeah, possession goes to 60-40 in their favour. Yeah, probably the eye test for you. Build till goes to pretty much 50-50. So it became a bit of a basketball game. If you were watching I watched it on TV, you were live, but it was a bit basketball-esque for that second half. Penalty box touches 11-12 in their favour. So, again, that's kind of how the game was panning out. And then we've got shots on target 2 each. Total shots, we had one more than them at 6 versus 5, right? XG, they got 0.55, we got 0.42 in that second half, all right? And again, our threat conversion dropped below 50% to 43, and we kept theirs at 50%. So again, we declined attacking wise, but we still defensively, although we just kept that kind of the right level. Now, the key periods you often tell me about is the subs were 55. Yeah, correct me if I'm around that, or 6. Let's call it the hour. Yeah. So up to that point, if we do break down by periods, we are. So this is the just after half time. So that period before the subs, they're not converting any of their threat to XG, and we're at 32. So it's not great, but we're still not letting them do anything. The period just before half time, we've got a 15% conversion. Again, we're not letting them do anything. The periods in which we score, we're at 120% threat, but they actually go to 230%. But other than that, we've kept them at 0 for that entire hour. All right, so that entire period. So that is before the subs. Post the subs, they go to a threat conversion of 190%. We drop to 0. We then get a little bit of control, and we go up to 70. And they go to 24, so we score from the corner in that one. So that's always going to be a bit more. And then we try and see the game out, but we drop to 0 for the injury time, and they go up to 35 again. So we have a lack of that hard-on control, should we say. But that definite period, that first 15-minute period, where the first sets the subs on, we lose. We go from giving them nothing to 190% conversion from threat to XG, which is a bit of a concern if you're looking at that. Monte Carlo show you that we should have won a game. I mean, I don't think anyone's really in doubt that we should have won a game, but it's maybe the manner in which we got there. Just to look at, and the other thing that probably will scare people a little bit, this is the pass bet up to the first subs. So nice. Nice in, good structure in the middle, good linkages, all the things that we talk about, right? Yes, we could do with a bit more going out to Diaz, but generally speaking, lovely, yeah? Now, just an advisory warning for this one. This is post-subs.
Jesus Christ, yeah. There's nothing.
That isn't a pass network. That's Van Dijk passing to Canate, right? That is Robbo passing to Grav, and then Grav passing to Bradley, or I know Conda, isn't it? So yeah, that's your network. So that shows you the absolute that's a horrendous impact of making those subs, which, as you said, Slot was genuinely been very good at half time at tweaking things to maximise that half of the game. This one, I just think he might have got things a little bit wrong. Passing, we go a bit long. So here is a bit more. This is up to that hour mark. We've got structure. We're looking to get out wide, but after that, the volume goes down. And it's literally straight vertical balls to try and get along. And the cross is the only one that really matters is this one here, which is the goal. But yeah, so it's a difference of approach, should we say? I think that's probably to look at the subs. I think you probably asked me. So differences. The key one I would say was probably left back. Would you say was the key one that people are talking about? I mean, Cody's struggling, right? So let's not kid him a little bit. He wasn't great when he came on. Let's just say that. But so Costas, although I agree, he wouldn't be my first choice left back if I had a perfect palette, but I don't. I would still pick Costas at the moment over Robbo because performances, he gave me 21%. He created 21% of our threat. He consistently does that. He consistently outperforms Robbo in terms of going forward. Defensively, yeah, sure. There are times when you're like, what are you doing? But Robertson on the Swiftless side for half an hour gave you 0.5. Now, considering where he was, generally tries to get high and do the rest of it. He's also passing success was 55%.
Jeez.
55% for one of our defenders who, as we know, how many times on TMM do we talk about defenders being there to recycle the ball, move it around? Yeah. 55%. And if you look at off the ball stuff for the comparison, so Costas, yeah, fair enough, 50% of his duels. He was involved in 6 duels and only won half of them. Aerials didn't compete for any of them, right? Whereas Robbo lost all of his, only competed in one, and he won one of his headers, surprisingly. But carries, he had 6 in total. Costas had 31 carries. And the majority of those were carries into the final third, whereas Robinson had 6 carries, and they were progressive, but only 17 into the final third. So that shows you a distinct difference there, of the performance of the 2 players and what they're offering. And Kwanzaa, again, there's no point in comparing a centre half with a right back. He played well. I think it's fair to say it's unfortunate that due to load management, he couldn't have played longer than that. But if you want him to play the next game, you don't break him against West Ham, right? So you just accept the fact that Kwanzaa comes on and he's not a right back. Could it have been Curtis dropping in there and Don playing in the 10? Maybe. But yeah, Kwanzaa is Kwanzaa. We've gone over that before. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a few stats to be worried about. And let's try and bring it back to a positive, because early doors, there was a lot to like. Yes, we were creating, the threat element. We've said that. It's nothing new. We need to convert more. But the one player I do want to look at, or the 2 players, but the first one I should say, Mo Salah. Absolutely destroying their fullback, Scarles, I think it was. Makes the goal with that brilliant Travaya pass, wasn't he? It was almost Salah in the first half before the subs, and obviously everything started to collapse systemically. How good, though, was Mo in this first half, especially?
I mean, he was on the ball he had 7.3% of our possession, which is pretty good, which is, very, very good for him. He's not got that. He's high, but not, if you know what I mean. Only had 1 shot, fair enough. In terms of XT, it was 0.32, which is exceptionally high for that period of time. It's like the best, apart from Diaz. Obviously had a lot because he created a few more other opportunities. There's Cutley pulled right across the box, which really should have been put away. And again, Costas was the only other player that was better than Mo. So Mo, again, outstanding contribution. Pass success of 78%. Again, we always say our forwards take a bit more of a chance and the rest of it. So 78% outstanding. Long passes from Mo, right? 24 long passes. When have you ever seen Mo do long passes? But pulling all of it in there. Progressive passes, 8, the most of any outfield player. The key pass is 3, which is the one that leads to a chance. All right.
Yeah.
So and 11% of our threat created, which again is second only to Costas, really. Off the ball, because Mo loves to help out at the moment. 25% of duel rate, fine. But if you look at where he took his carries, 89% of his carries were in the final third, and 30% of them are progressive. So that means he was carrying the ball for 20 odd meters, which is again a very, very good performance from him. He had 49 touches. Penalty box touches, just to give you an idea, 7. So it's not quite in double figures, but still a very good amount. Diaz was the only one better than him. So Mo, definitely one of those games where you go, do you know what? I'm glad, even if it was only a half. A great performance from Mo. Created the goal and was a threat throughout. It's just unfortunate we didn't make more of it. Maybe that's the 9 in the middle not offering, not linking up as much. Here's the areas here. Mo's operating here wide, but Jota is down here. So Jota typically dropping in, but it means that there's nothing in here for Mo to link up with on the ball. So that is a problem with well established. We know that. We have seen the links that we've done on TNN, but they will potentially be looking to address that in some way, I would suggest.
Yeah, and it is scary when you see the stats like that. Without a number 9 on form, I'm not going to hammer Jota too much, but what Mo Salah is creating, and even on the eye test that we talked about, he just burned Skulls about 3 or 4 times. He made chances, and ultimately it's a brilliant assist for the goal, one of the big differences. Maybe, just maybe, Bart's, for me, a bigger difference, Alisson. It was just an outrageous some of the saves. You think of that one from Kudus going back that he gets his fingertips to put it on the bar. There's one from, I think it's Kudus with his feet as well. There's the Bowen one-on-one. Basically, if it's, and it's not trying to be derogatory again, if Kelleher's in nets, we don't win that game. There's no two ways about it. It just, do we see that on the stats, how important Alisson was in this one?
So you remember last week we looked at Fulham, right, and we looked at the chance, and we looked at the fact that the post shot was lower than the actual chance, right? And Kelleher wasn't saving it. Yeah, that was 3 of the goals were like that. Yeah. So if you look at some of these, so that Kudus chance on 70 minutes is a 6% chance. Kudus, because he's a good player, adds 12%, right? And Ali saves it. Yeah, so Ali saves that. If you look at I'm trying to think of someone. Yeah, so here, a 15% post-shot chance from Jarrod Bowen. Again, Ali saves that. Another one-on-one, Ali saves that. A big chance here, 0.7. Ali saves that. Yeah. 0.2, Ali saves that. Soitler, which I think is the tip onto the bar, 0.11, he saves that. A dead centre, only 0.5% exit block, but there are several other opportunities that and he just adds so that when a player adds XG onto it in the post shot and Ali makes that save, it shows you how good the goalkeeper performance was. So in all of the ones that were added value, the player added a bit on and they were made the chance more difficult, Ali saved them all. And the only one he only got beat by an OG by Van Dijk. His fault. So other than that, I thought this one here though, I thought was outstanding. Is that one? No, from Kudus, which is across him, and he tips it around onto the post. I thought that was amazing. That's the kind of thing you see Kelleher concede all the time. So yeah, I think that it was an outstanding performance, and again showed you why, for me, he's arguably been the best goalkeeper in the world for a long time.
It sounds crazy. And listen, the Fulham first half was abysmal and there's mistakes galore. And you can't rehash shoulda, woulda, coulda. We've talked about this many times. But you just wonder if Bradley had started that game, if Alisson had been available to start that game, what would the outcome have been? But you're just seeing how important Alisson is. There really is a huge 100%. Difference maker for us. No two ways about it.